Hi, I'm Dr. Bertice Berry, and I want to tell you a story. It's a difficult story, so brace yourself. I grew up next to the whipping post. I heard that at least every other day from my mother, especially when I got older and I would tell her what she would call white people mess. I've been through something that somebody didn't see me, or they tried to act like I didn't belong here, or this, and this. She'd say, I know, I know. I grew up next to the whipping post. And she was reminding me that there were things that had been harsher and harder for her, that she had to endure, that she had to evolve from, that she had to see, that she had to feel, that she had to hold in her memories and in her space whenever something happened that just didn't feel right. She would hold that up and measure how far she had come. And then she'd remind me, I grew up next to the whipping post. The day after the election, I was booked to speak to two audiences in two different places. And I was asked to speak on peace in the midst of the storm. Now, I had been asked to do that a few years before the election. And so I had to hold my heart in a place where it could present what I was employed to do. It was difficult. It was truly difficult. And I kept hearing my mother saying, I grew up next to the whipping post. Now, those of you who are singing the Allman Brothers song, Tied to the Whipping Post, let me ask you right now, what would they know? What would they know about a whipping post or being the whipping boy? That stand in for somebody else's neglect, abuse, troubles, and the whipping boy who got whipped instead of the one who should have been there. What would they know? Anyway, folks kept calling me, crying and texting and wailing and wanting me to join in their lamentations in that moment. And I couldn't, because I had work to do and I needed to keep my heart in a place that could do it. I also knew that my mother grew up next to the whipping post. And I wasn't going to be pulled into somebody else's stuff, somebody's stuff who couldn't see my stuff, who had never bothered to see how deep my stuff ran. And so when I'd say I can't do that right now, they'd say, well, we all get to feel what we all get to feel, as if I was telling them what to feel. Instead, they were telling me what I should feel. And as I talk now to my sister friends, women of color, they all had these same stories of being called and dumped on, of being tied to the whipping post, to bear somebody else's stuff, to lift up somebody else's stuff, to hold the stuff we've been holding for generations. My mother grew up next to the whipping post, and the trauma of her life became the trauma of my life. And I'm not carrying it anymore. I'm surely not carrying what my mother would have called white people mess. The stuff they cause and then lament about and then look to us to carry it or to be the stand-in. It's a thing to work so hard to be exceptional, only to be seen by as average by less than mediocre people. And I'm tired. I'm not tired of living. I'm not tired of loving. I'm not tired of holding up the light. I'm tired of being dumped on by folks who don't want to carry their own water. It is time that you look at the folks who've been going through. Look to the lives of refugees and people who hold on and smile in spite of. Folks we want to dump on. This season, when you see that sweet baby Jesus lying in a manger, just remember that's the sweet baby Jesus that we tied to the whipping post. I love you. And I know we're going to get there.